So, is this visible? Yes. See, don't put the message because I have shared screen, so I can't see your messages. So only you just tell me whether it is visible or not. Otherwise, I'll just start and you will not able to see this. Yes, anyone can reply.
Yes, sir, visible.
Okay, thank you. Now see, today we will start with this simple the environment of C++ programming. But see, just before just starting with this, if you are uh, ready with the C++, then I can go with the C++. Or if you say like we need to go with Java, then I can also go with Java. Only that problem is with that Java is that you don't have any idea about the Java programming. So I need to take it in detail, because when we go with C++, so most of the uh, contents from the C programming, these are the same. So I'll not repeat these contents in C programming or in Python. You learn these contents. So I'll not repeat these. I'll just start with the object-oriented concept in C++ programming. And when I'll just go with the Java, so in that case, I need to explain you each and everything. So in that case, only it would be very tough for me to complete that syllabus in time, right? But still, I'll try if we are going with the Java, because in Java that the syntax is somewhat bigger one, and in C++ that syntax are the small one. So you just tell me with which language we have to go with this concept, object-oriented concept. So the concept is object-oriented programming, and the C++ is also object-oriented programming, and the Java is also object-oriented programming. The Java is a purely object-oriented programming, right? So anyone can say, or whoever is your the class representative kind of, because you are from different classes, so that person can tell me after this lecture or in the evening or tomorrow in this week anytime, so with which language we have to go. So all you just discussed and you just tell me. So I'll just go with either C++ or Java, right? So today I'll just complete this one, and then whatever the programming you are saying, with that programming I'll just go. Okay. So we have studied the basic concepts of the C++ programming, or we can say that is object-oriented programming. Now today we will see with the simple C++ program that, and I'll just today mostly that main focus is on the IDE for the C++, and I'll just go with IDE of that Java also today, because both IDE you need to know. If we are going with C++, then we'll go with this IDE. Otherwise, we'll go with the Java IDE, right? So we'll write a simple C++ program today, and the commenting, because in C programming and in Python programming, that commenting is different one. Here, the commenting is very different. So I'll just tell you the commenting. Then input output mechanism, like in Python programming, print and read, or in C programming, printf and scanf. These are the input output, the functions there. Here the input output operators are different. That again I'll just tell you. Header files in C++ programming, like C programming, or the header files are most important, because these header files are having declaration about the whatever functions you are using, inbuilt functions like printf, scanf in C programming, and here we are using some of the input output of the functions. So these declaration would be there in header file, right? And cascading of IO operators, that also I'll just tell you. And one example I'll just take with class, right? And with that, with respect to that class example, I'll just explain the methods and structure of C++ programming, right? So this is the today's the agenda, right? So I'll just go with the simple program. See, first I'll just show you here and then I'll just tell you about the IDE. Now you can see here, this program is I have written over here. So first line of this program, if you see, so this is the header file. Now you need to include this header file whenever you start that C++ programming. Like C programming also, in C programming also we need to include the header files. So as this C++ programming is the extension of C programming, because initially that name of C++ programming was C with classes, right? So whatever the C features are there, these features are also available in C++ programming, plus that object-oriented features are also there, right? So that's why here we need to include for first header file in first line, right? And see, these are the two types of commenting. Just I have given the commenting here. So you might know that commenting is what? So whenever we compile or run that program, so that compiler ignore these commenting lines, right? So it means when we compile the C++ program, so whatever is written in red color here, so that compiler will ignore, right? So just this is for the third user or the programmer need to know what that statement is, right? So for that we need to put that commenting. So here these are the two types of commenting. One is, this is called as single line commenting, right? Single line commenting. And whatever is the second one is the multi-line commenting, and this format is used in C programming also. And in C++, this single line commenting or the multiple line commenting is also there, right? So this format also we use in C programming, and this is in C++. So we can use either. If suppose the bigger text is there, then we can use multi-line commenting. And if suppose that text is smaller one, then we can use the single line commenting. So this is about the commenting, right? Now in C programming, C++ programming, so this statement is the most important. Actually, we can write that program without using this statement or with using this statement. So that I have just written here, we can use names for objects and variables for standard library, right? So here that standard library is cout, and one more that library is cin. So for that we need to include this one. Without this also we can uh, write the program, but in that case we need to write std and double colon before this cout, right? So that thing should be there if you are not writing this statement, and if you write this statement, then simply you can write cout here, right? So and C++ programming, like C programming, that the main function is also here, right? And that main function is having some kind of sequence, and as per that sequence that program will execute here, right? So int main, that int is what? This is for the return type, and this is the main function, and that opening brace, this one, and this is the closing brace, and inside of this we can write the instructions. So here that cout is the output library or function, we can say. This is used to display something on the screen, right? So that's cout. One more the function is there, that is the cin, right? So that cin, that is used to take the input from the keyboard or from the user, right? So that one. So this is the format or syntax for the cout. So this cout, then this one, this double angular bracket, and it is called as insertion, right? Whatever is that double angular bracket, that is the insertion. And after that we can write the string, that would be in double quote, and at the end that semicolon is required. Like C programming, that each and every statement in C++ also that required that semicolon. But if you see that Python programming, so there that semicolon is not mandatory, right? But in C and C++, this semicolon is mandatory, and also if you are going with the Java programming, that semicolon is mandatory there, right? And as this function is having some kind of return type, so we are not returning any value, So in that case, we can return 0, right? And when we just write this program, you can use any kind of editor to write the C++ program. So many editors are there. If you are using, suppose, Linux, so Nano is there, Pico is there, VI is there, so gedit is there. So many editors are there. Using any editor, you can write the C++ program. And if you are going with the Windows operating system, then there we can use Code Block, Turbo C, or that Node plus plus, Notepad plus plus, something, right? So these are the some editors. So we can use these editors to write the C++ program. And then same thing that for Java is also, right? For Java, then again we have different the editors. So we can use these editors to write the program. So one thing you just keep in your mind, that editor is different thing and that compiler is different thing, right? So using editor, we can write the program. Now just we know in C programming and in C++ programming, we need to compile that program first. So this case is not there in Python, right? Because you studied that Python in first year. So there that uses interpreter. So there that compilation is not required. And I think you might know the difference between the compiler and interpreter also. So when we see compiler, so compiler compile the whole program. Whatever is the program, that complete program, it first compile and then it goes for the running. But when we go interpreter, so interpreter is what? It executes single statement first. So one by one that Python program gets executed, line by line, right? First line gets executed and it displays that output with respect to that line. Then second, then again that execute likewise. So here that compiler compiles complete program. So this thing is in C programming, in Java programming, or in C++ programming. In these three, so that compiler is there. Okay. Now, if you are using, suppose, the Ubuntu, then this is the command to compile it. So as we are going for with the C++, so here G++, then space, then your file name. Now suppose that file name is sample.cpp. Now cpp that represent this file is of C++ programming. Like in C, that .c extension is there. In Python, that py.py is the extension for the Python file, and in Java.java is the extension for that Java file, right? Like in CPP, C++, that .cpp is the extension, right? So this is your complete file. So whatever this file we have written, so for this file, that .cpp extension is required. So we can say whatever is this written in square, this file name is sample.cpp, right? Now, once we just uh, execute this line, then this will create a exe file, right? Then whatever is that file created, that default file name after just execution of this command, this line, the default that executable file name is a.out. Now that file will be created there, and then we can run simply that file. So using this line ./a.out. So this statement or command is used to run your C++ program, right? So if you are going with uh, Ubuntu, now see, I'll just tell you both things. If you are having that laptop with dual booting, that like Windows and Linux, so that is good. If laptop is not there, sorry, that Linux is not there on your machine, so you can have one the virtual machine kind of thing here in the Windows. So that is like Ubuntu, right? So simple steps are there. You can see on the YouTube and you can install it. This will take only 5 to 10 minutes, 5 minutes only, right? So this is the, we can say, Ubuntu. And if you are going with this one, right? And if you are going with the Windows, like suppose first I'll just show you on that Windows. see, I have here code blocks. Here you can write your the CPP program. Right? So that depend on you. If you are using the Windows, so you can use this code block also. Or Turbo C compiler is also there, or Node++. The many editors are there, right? So here first I'll just start with new, right? And I'll write simple program, that same program, include IOStream. So this is the header file that is having the declaration of the inbuilt functions. Then namespace std, right? And we can write the main program as a oops lecture, okay? And as we have the return type, so we are not returning anything, so we can say that is 0, right? So if you are using the Windows operating system, then here you need see, we have the some options here. If you are able to see this, so this is build and run, or you can go in this and you can say compile current file, or again here the two options are there. So if you compile this, oh sorry, we have not saved it, so I'll save it first.cpp, okay. Now compile the current file, so it is not having any error or something, and then here that run option is there, or also you can go here and you can click run on run, or control F10 is also there, right? So you can see here oops lecture, this is the output here, right? If you are going with this, and if you are going with the Linux operating system, so if you are able to see here, so first I'll just go in my folder, okay. Now here I can create that same, I can use any editor I am using, suppose here Pico editor, so first.cpp, right? This program just will write, oh I'll just increase the size this, okay. Okay, so it's same here, IOStream, and using namespace std int main cout, oops lecture, okay. And here we return 0. And to exit from this, see at the bottom of this editor, the instructions are given here. So to exit, you can press Control X. So Control X and then press Y and then enter. Okay. Now here, so whatever the step I just told you to run this, so G++ then first.cpp, right? So this is to compile your program. So it is running successfully because that command prompt is there after just execution of this. And then if you see here, you can see that a.out file has been created here. You can see here. This is a.out. that file will be created after executing of this line, and these are the other files like first.cpp just now we have created, and these two files already I have just created. Okay, so I need to run this. So a dot out, this is the statement to execute this a dot out file. So you can see here, so oops lecture, this is the output here. So I've understood this. Yeah, so this is the IDE of the Ubuntu, and IDE of the on Windows operating system, right? One more thing, I'll just tell you, but before that, I'll show you the Java IDE. Just reply me immediately. I'll stop this. Okay, thank you. So we'll start with the Java IDE, right? If you are having any doubt in this C++ IDE, you can ask. Now see, one simple program again I have just taken here in this. See, that main difference in that Java and C++ programming is actually both are the object-oriented programming. But as I said that Java is a purely object-oriented programming. It means here each and every program is having objects and classes. But in the C programming, if you see here, in this example, there is no any class and object, right? This is simple like your C programming, right? but class and object concept is here. But if you consider this is the same program. It's a very small program, but here that class concept is there. So every program in Java that starts with class. That is the one thing. Second thing, if you see here that first line and see that Java is a case sensitive, right? So wherever that capital letter is there, so you must write that capital letter. If that letter is small, then you need to write that small. It is a case sensitive language. Okay, that is one thing. Second, if you see that first line of this program, public class main, right? So see, this main is the class name. That is a class name. And whenever we save this file, so that file name should be again that main.java. So whatever is the name of that class, that same name you just provide for the file name also. If you suppose mismatch that the class name and file name, so your program will not run. So this thing you just keep in your mind. So whatever is the class name, that same name must be there for the file. So if you see here that MAIN, here M is capital, and when I just compile this here, so that M is capital MAIN, right? And that .java, because this is a Java file, so .java is there, right? So this thing you just keep in your mind. So that class name and your file name must be same. Okay. Second, here also that main function is there, but in C++ programming, that main function is outside of your class. But if you see here in this example, so the main function is this one, and this is inside of this class. So whatever is the main class, inside of this main class is there. And now see, not necessary to keep this main as a name of class. You can see here, you can write that sample, class name is sample. So in that case, this one again would be a sample. So this is depend on you. What name you want to put after this class, that is depend on you. But that same name must be there in class and in file. And that main function is also here. So that main function is inside of this class. So that Java programming means what? That is a simply that every program start with class. That thing you just understand here. And second, in the C programming or the C++ programming, that main syntax was different here, and this one is different. So when we'll just go across with the other programs, we will understand what is the meaning of this and what is the meaning of this. So right now you just understand here, this is a main function, right? And after this, this is to print something. This is, we can say, output function. So in the C programming, that printf function is there. In Python, that print function is there. And in C++, cout function we have seen just. But here in Java programming, we need to write this line complete. System.out.println. So in this, that system S is capital. So this again thing you just keep in your mind. This S is capital, and again whatever the string parameter we have written here inside this main, that S is again a capital. So that you just understand, because in Java programming, if suppose we forgot to write that small and capital, then it's very tough to find out that error. Right? So while typing program, you need to type carefully so that you will get that error-free program. Right? So this one is to print something. So here we are printing, suppose hello world. So using this function, we can print it, right? And if you are using the Ubuntu, so this is the statement to compile, and this statement is to run. And if you are going with the Windows operating systems, then we need to install that JDK, right? And here also we need to install, but on my machine for Windows, that JDK is not there, but on Ubuntu that is there. So we'll see with this, right? So I'll create new file here, pico, and suppose again first.java, right? That same file name I'll keep, because this folder is different. Initially that first dot cpp program was in this folder, this cpp, and now whatever is the first dot java, that I am just writing in this folder. So you can see here, if you see this path, so here this Harish is the main folder, and under that Harish Java folder is there. And before this, you can see here in Harish folder that cpp was the folder. So right now I am in Java folder, so I'll just create this, right? And we can write here that Java program. So here, not necessary to include that header file and something, you can write simply that class. So public class. So I'll just change that name here, sample. I think sample is there. First we have written, right? First, right? So first, this is the your class name as well as your the file name, because file name is first.java. Then here public static main, and these are the two arguments, string. What is happening here? 1 minute. String and this opening brace. Now here you can print whatever you want to print. System dot out dot println, right? This is a statement, and inside of this we can print hello world, right? This one, and again we need to keep that semicolon here and just close both the functions, right? And same thing again, as I said here. So in this Pico editor, so everything is given at the bottom. You can see here. So to write, to read, or to exit, so that instructions are given, shortcut keys are given here. So I'll just exit from this, and to save this, press Y and this one, right? So I think our file name is the first.java. That's why that class name is first. Okay. So that thing you just understand over here. Now here to run this, I just given you two commands, that Java C compiler and this Java to run. So here I can write Java C and first.java, right? That syntax again I messed up. Here void I forgot, I think. Public static void main. Void, right? This one. Then compile. Yeah, running, compiling successfully. Now Java and first. You can see there. So hello world is there, right? So in this manner, you can compile and run your Java program as well as your C++ program. I think you might understood this. Okay. So these two things, and which I just wanted to take other. Okay. The cascading I'll just tell you, and then this part I'll just take afterward because I need the time for this. So cascading is very simple here. I'll show you, and okay, I'll just try here because there we have seen. Now here again we'll change that program. You can see this editor. Okay. So here suppose you want to simple program, I'll just write here, enter two numbers, right? This one here, I need to declare this int a, b, and c, suppose, right? So these are the three variables, and here, like cin, this is to take input from the keyboard. So this means simply you can accept the value of a, then you can accept the value of b, right? This is one thing. This is a simple statement, and I'll just comment these two, and I'll show you that cascading. So cin a, again this, and b, so that you can accept the values of a and b in one line. And here, suppose c equals to a plus b, and suppose one more I'll just take here, a minus b, right? And here, 1 minute, this one, okay? And now when we just go for the printing, this is the one way you can print the result of C in this way, or we can combine with string like addition, and then the C. This is again a kind of cascading. Or again, if you want to print something like here, suppose one handle is the function that function is used for new line, or slash new line is also workable here, and subtraction, and here D. So this is a cascading kind of, right? Or we can write separately C out, addition, and the C, and then again for the next time C out and then subtraction, right? So this is depend on you. So I'll just save this, and I'll just use build and run, right? Oh, D was not declared. Yeah. So D was not declared, right? Now I'll just build and run program. You can see here, suppose first number and second number, suppose 6, right? So you can see addition is 16, subtraction is 4, right? So for this one is in this way, again we can write here, okay? So which one is the next? So next is about an example with class. So I'll just start with class and object. And if you are going with C++, and if you are going with the Java, then already we just started with the class. If you see this, only object concept is not here. So, but that class concept is there. But I'll just take separate example for this class and object, and then you will understand the class and object concept, and then we'll just go further. Okay. So you just tell me. First, I'll just stop this recording. If you are having any doubt, you can ask me. Okay.